truth about Hanukkah. You know, I started to do, Torah Mark. I started to do Hanukkah and Purim together, but I wanted to take my time on each feast day and do it the right way. So the first one that we're going to do is Chanukah. It means the actual literal term of Hanukkah is the fullness of dedication, to be dedicated. Just like Hanuk, his name means dedicated one. So Chanukah means the fullness of dedication, and you'll see why. It's not a commanded feast of Yahuwah himself. I want to make that clear. You have 7 feasts of Yahuwah. That's Pesach or Passover. That's unleavened bread. That's first fruits. That's Shavuot, or what people call Pentecost. Then you have the Feast of Trumpets. You have Atonement. And then you have Tabernacles. Those are direct commandments of Feast of Yahuwah to keep, along with the Shabbat or the Sabbath. Those are direct instructions. What Hanukkah and what Purim are feasts of rejoicing for what Yahuwah has done unto us. So it's not commanded for you to keep them, but it's for our people to understand what he's done unto us and show that we kept these when we knew who we were. So coming back to who we are is showing that Yahuwah his power has been strong and his hand has been strong towards his people, and his mercy, his facade, his loving kindness has been strong towards his people. So before we start, man, I'm gonna pull out to Yahuwah, and then we'll go from there. Baruch atah Hashem Yahuwah, Eloheinu, melech haolam, melech olamim, Torah Rabbi Yahuwah. Thank you greatly for all that you've done for us and all that you have given unto us. And thank you for the doors always being open for your Torah, your word to be shared. We appreciate you, Yahweh. We thank you for your mighty works in your hand and what you have done for our people. And they have been written down as a testimony and a dog for us to follow and believe in you as well, because these things are coming up on the earth again. And they're already here, as Shaul has said, and many others behind him. We believe you and we trust you in your word. And we ask you this word that goes forth and resonates strong in the rule of the people. In the name of all names, Yahuwah, who is Yahushua. Amen. So, Hanukkah, it means the Feast of the Dedication. It will be found in the book of Maccabees. So if you have the book of Maccabees or the book of Maccabees, this book was removed. And now, after reading all 4 books of Maccabees, after studying it, I see why they removed it, because it was a continuation of the Devarim or Deuteronomy 28 curses. It's a continuation to show who those curses stuck to. It's a continuation to show what those people look like, what those people operated as, and who those people were. And so the book was removed so that they could take away, everybody, it's an artist I know that's in the gospel industry, and he spent almost, I think, a whole week boasting on Martin Luther and about the works and the acts of Martin Luther, him, nailing the Protestant Reformation on the door of the Catholic Church, blah, 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 yeah. But what people don't understand is he left Catholicism and formed his own religion, but still removed the truth. Those books were removed. What we call the Apocrypha is not hidden books. They were taken out. They were stolen from us to hide our history. So Martin Luther had a lot to do with that. He took those books out because, for one thing, he didn't believe that belief with works. So he took out, actually, Yaakov, or who they call James. He wanted to take out Revelations. He took out a lot of books and printed those books as such, with the books removed. So what we're doing today is bringing back a story and bringing back an adah, or a testimony of what Yahweh has did for our people, so that we can rejoice in him. And so, and I'll let you know when Hanukkah is and how to keep Hanukkah the right way. So before I go into this fully, because you know how I get, I want to debunk the Jewish Hanukkah and tell you what Hanukkah is not. So we'll go from that. We'll go to that point. Shalom, shalom to all who watching. Abaryt Yahshar'alym for you. Hanukkah is not a Jewish holiday. Throw that out. Throw it in the trash can. Get rid of it. All Yahshar'al was affected. When you say, and the thing I don't understand about Judah or Yehuda or the Jews that have taken on, they only act like that it's Jews. Meaning there's only Yehuda. They don't act like there's no other tribes that exist. You get what I'm saying? They act like it's nothing else but them. They don't mention Gad. They don't mention Asher, Naphtali, Zabulon, Reuben. They don't mention nobody else. It's all about them. You don't hear them talk about them like they don't exist. But Maccabees, when we read the Maccabees, you'll see that all Yahshar'al was affected by what happened. All Yahshar'al. It's not, here we go, an 8-night miracle of all. Throw that in a trash can. Jews teach that the greatest miracle that happened on Hanukkah was a cruise of oil. Was after the temple had been fully defiled. For one thing, if the temple is fully defiled, everything is defiled. This is Yahweh's Torah. He tells you how to keep the temple undefiled. And if it's defiled, it's defiled. You can't piece it, oh, we found this little fourth of a corner over here, and there was some oil sitting here, and this oil was pure so we could dedicate the temple back. That's foolishness. Yahweh gives instructions on how to keep the temple fully unpolluted. If it's been polluted, he allowed it to be polluted. And you're going to see that. Because he told us that if we did not keep his commandments, did not operate in his statutes and laws, it will be fully polluted. And the Goyim, the Gentiles, would trample it under. They will put the abomination of desolation in the temple. There was no hidden cruise of oil. I'm going to tell you where that comes from. They said that this oil burned for 8 days or 8 nights. And they burnt this oil, and it was a miracle because this oil, it was supposed to only last for 1 night, but it lasts 8 nights. Lies. Lies, lies. That comes from the Babylonian Talmud. And if you know anything about the Babylonian Talmud, it's oral lies of Jewish law. They are liars. And when I say this, I'm saying it clear and I'm saying it precise, so it's no question of where I stand with this. The menorah that the Jews have 9 candlesticks. You see this one? This is the actual menorah that Yahweh commanded us to have. This is the exact instruction of Yahweh to make it like this. So where did the Jews get the 9? They got the 9 so that they could take it and light it for 8 days in accordance to their lie. That's why you see an 8-stand menorah, which is 9 because you got 1 in the middle and 4 on each side. That's false. I'm saying this for a reason. We finna go here. Total one. So, they mention all these cruises of oil, and they mention that the cruise of oil burned. But I got here recorded in the book of Maccabees 4 major accounts of miracles that Yahweh did, greater than that foolishness that they wrote down. You get what I'm saying? It was greater than that foolishness they wrote down. You get what I'm saying? So why are we recording just 1 measly miracle of all burning when Yahweh did a great work for this people? What we finna see too is the slave trade again. Once again in this book. Because they knew who we were and they removed it. So now let's talk about Hanukkah. I went through all that to get to here. So, there's no dreidels mentioned, none of that. Because doctrines and traditions of men is what lead us away from Yahuwah. And that's all religions. Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Moors, Kemet, anything. It don't matter what color your skin is. If your religion is not talking about Yahuwah, you are false. I don't care what color you are. You are false. Yahuwah is the Elohim of all Haaretz. All those who come to him on the earth can be saved and get delivered. Hallelujah. But you must know his truth. Hallelujah. So now, before I start this, to prove this, let's look at the true branch menorah. Let's go to Shemut or Exodus 25. And we finna talk about Hanukkah. So go to Shemut, which means names, or Exodus 25. Told him, Mark. And told her who said that, man. Appreciate that. Man, told her, man. So we're at 25 and we're at verse 31. Listen to what Yahweh direct instruction is. See, this is what I've learned. This is how you can truly know who his people is, by how they follow his instructions. See, this is what I'm saying. Not skin color. You didn't hear me say that. You didn't hear me say anything else, but this is how you truly can know his people, by how they obey him. By how they obey him. Man, if you love me, what? Keep my commandments. That's book. Come on, man. And you shall make a menorah of pure gold. God, all already jumped off heavy. Of beaten work shall the menorah be made. His shaft, his branches, his bowls. Why do you think it's using his? When it's using his, it's symbolizing Yahushua. He is the light of the Shemayim. The 7 candlesticks, remember Revelation, we're going to read that, is Yahushua. He is the light. Hallelujah. Man, he holds the light. His bowls, his knobs. When you look up knobs, I'm going to give you that too. That's knobs. His flowers shall be of the same. And 6 branches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 branches shall come out the sides of it. Watch how accurate it is. 3 branches of the menorah. 1, 2, 3. Man, look at this, man. This is so perfect. Out of one side, and 3 branches of the menorah out of the other side. So you have 1 menorah, 3 branches, 3 branches, just like it says. Man, this is good stuff. 3 bowls made up unto it like almonds. This is what these knobs are. When we see these bulges in it, they are doing exactly what Yahuwah instructed them to do. It says 3 bowls of almonds and a flower in one branch. So you got this, a flower on one branch. You see all this, right? Like the book said. It says, and 3 bowls made like the almonds in the other branch, with a knob and a flower, so that 6 branches come out of the menorah. This is good stuff. Right, I'm trying to be calm. So I looked up the word knob, especially an ornamental one. For example, a stem of a wine glass, an ornamental tuft or loop. So the knob looks exactly how it's supposed to be. You see little bulges on it. These people were led by the Spirit to make this of Yahweh. They had the spirit of design, if you will. When Masha, he said, I'm sending you these people who have that spirit in them. He didn't have to go looking or recruiting. Yahweh put the spirit in these young men, and they did the work. Hallelujah. Man, that's good stuff. And a menorah shall be 4 bowls made like unto the almonds, and with their knops. Keep reading. And there shall be a knot under the 2 branches of the same, and a knot under the 2 branches of the same, and a knot under the 2 branches of the same. Accurate. According to the 6 branches that proceed out of the menorah. And the knots in their branches shall be of the same. And it shall be of one beaten work of pure gold. And you shall make out the 7 lamps. Pay attention thereof. And they shall light out lamps thereof, that they may give light over against it. And the tongues thereof, and the snuff dishes thereof. What's a snuff dish? The snuff dish is what puts out the fire. It snuffs it out. So let's keep going. Man, it's good. Shall be of pure gold. Of 1 talent of pure gold shall you make it. A talent is 75 pounds of gold, bro. 1 talent was 75 pounds. Man. That's why people wanted the vessels. That's why when the heathen raided, what do? Right, let's get this stuff. This good stuff. He didn't have to do his temple, man. Out with all the vessels. And look to it that you make them after their pattern. Pay attention to that. Which was showed to you in the mount. This pattern was the pattern of what's in the Shemayim. He showed him in the mount, and Moshe had to make sure that it was precisely the way he seen it. So where we get this 9 from? See, these people lie to us, and we believe that they the people because pastors lie to us and point to them too. But if we just read the book and see the pattern, we'd understand. All right. Thus showing once again the Jewish community has added to Yahweh's Torah, which is a direct violation of his matzut or commandments. Let's go to Abaryt 4:2 real quick. Go to Deuteronomy or Abaryt 4:2. I'm reading all this because when we jump into this, we jumping into this. I'm going to actually start at 1. Now therefore hearken, O Yahshar'alym, not Jews, not Yehuda, Yahshar'alym. Hearken, O Yahshar'alym, unto the statutes and the judgments which I teach you, for to do them, that you may live. So his instructions are to live by. I'm going to show you in this book, watch this, that pagan mess was in there, or what they call Christmas. Pagan mess is what I like to call it, me and my shop. Pagan mess was in him. They knew it. That's death. But he said, by my commandments you shall live. Hallelujah. Man, come on. And go in and possess the land which Yahweh Elohim of your fathers give you. The reason why the commandments came to us so that when we go into lands, we could have them. Right. Why are we struggling to have our own now? Because we not keeping his commandments. Yes. Man, this is simple stuff, man. We have made it so deep. Straight like a vertical leap. Good stuff. Man, I love that verse. You shall not add to the word which I command you. You shall not add to it. Man, listen. Neither shall you diminish aught from it or take away from it, that you may guard out the commandments or matzot of Yahweh Elohim. That means their power, which I command you. Do you see that? You don't add to or take away. Then why they got 9 instead of 7? Why they do it on certain days instead of the days they're supposed to do? Why are they telling stories that don't even exist in the book? All right. All right. Now, that's the same thing in Hazaun or 22nd or Revelations 22, 18, 19. I'll just tell you straight what it means. It says, don't add to or take away from this, lest you receive the plagues of this book. That's what it says. Revelations 22, 18 through 19. You can look at it. Man, boy, man. But let's look at Revelations 1 real quick. I'm going now and I'm going to come back. The reason why you can't change the instruction is because it is Yahushua. He is the pattern that it lives by. Remember, it says that there will be no sun in the Shemayim, or when he comes down here, actually, in the new Jerusalem. There'll be no sun because he will light the whole place. You have to make it after the design of him. Man, boy. So here we go. Revelations 1 and 13. Man. Wait. Let's go to 12. I'm sorry. And I turned to see the voice that spoke with me. And being turned, I saw 7 golden menorahs. That's just like he just told us to make. There's no change in the Abaryt Yahshay, what you call the New Testament, versus what Yahweh has said. It's people who made that up. It's the same. 7 golden menorahs. And in the midst of the 7 menorahs was one unto like the son of Adam. Ban Adam, that's Yahushua. Clothed with a garment down to the foot and girded around the chest by a golden girdle. So those 7 candlesticks, they said among them was Yahushua, the menorah. He represents that. That's a representation of him. That's why he says, let that light shine before men, that your light may be seen and esteem the Father. You can't change a pattern once he gives it. You get what I'm saying? So here we go. Now, I said all that to get here. Let's go to 1 Maccabees, chapter 1. Hallelujah. Now I'm going to say this again. This is not a commanded feast of Yahuwah himself. This is a feast to rejoice that he delivered us from our enemies. There's no Torah against that. There is a Torah against paganness and Halloween and Thanksgiving. There is Torahs against that. Literal Torahs. Okay. I just want to be clear. Hallelujah. So, now let's read this. Man, it's good. Now I'm excited. I'm trying to calm down, man, because, man, I was studying this. I said, man, Yahuwah is amazing. And it happened after that Alexander, the son of Philip. If you ever did history lessons in school, they taught you about Alexander the Great. He was a Macedonian. They taught us about this. They taught us, because I went to an all-white school, they taught us about Antiochus Epiphanes. I know who that is. I was taught that in school. I didn't know this belonged in our book. Man, Abaryt Yahshar'alym for the truth. This is a history book. This is all it is. And if we look at the history of this book, we'll know that Yahuwah has proven to be who he is. But atheists and Satanists have removed these like they don't want you to know this. They say you can't find the graves of these people and stuff. They lying to you. If you look in the right place, you will find the truth. Here we go. We just didn't know where to look. Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kittim. Kittim is Rome. Document that. Has smitten, pay attention, Darius the king. What was King Darius? He was reigning during the time of Daniel. Man, we finna talk about all this. This is history. Man, I'm excited. King of the Persians and Madai. And he reigned in his stead first over Yaban. Who is Yaban? The Greeks. So Yaban and Greeks is the same people. That's Japheth's son. Yaban is the Greeks. That's our cousins. So everybody hollering color, that's our cousins. Greeks are our cousins. We all come from three brothers. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. That's our cousin. Take it how you want to. And made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew kings of the earth, and went through the ends of the earth, and took spoils to many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him. Alexander the Great had conquered so much that the earth was quiet before him. Boy, whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. Uh-oh. See, that's when you beef with Yahuwah. That's when you beef with him. You notice the beef came when his heart was lifted up. Man, come on. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries under him. And after these things, what happened? He fell sick. Boy, you better not mess with him. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your status is. You better not mess with Yahuwah. He can touch that body. He killeth and he makes it alive. That's book. And he perceived that he should die. Therefore he called his servants, which were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted the kingdom among them, people he trusted. See that? While he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years, then he died. So all that power he had means nothing. You couldn't even keep yourself alive. And his servants bore rule, everyone in his place. And after the death, they all put crowns on themselves. And so did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in Haaretz, or the earth. And it came out of them a wicked root. Boy. Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes. Man. How many Baptist churches you seen called Antioch and stuff like that? They don't even know what they doing. Man, sit down. Surnamed Epiphanes. Oh, the rock of Antioch. Son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage at Rome. He reigned in 137th year of the kingdom of the Yavanim. This is year 137 of the kingdom of the Greeks, the Yavanim. In those days, they were out of Yahshar'alym. Look at that. Now it's us again. We always in the middle of foolishness. In those days, that's why I can't take a side and be like, I'm Yahshar'alym, black power, this and that. Because it's always us. Why didn't we remain righteous? It's always us in the midst of it. Come on, man. And that went out of Yahshar'alym, wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. Now who you going to blame then? Because Abaryt or Deuteronomy 12 says, don't do as the other nations do. Don't worship their powers like you worship me. Gave a direct commandment. Come on. Don't marry your sons and your daughters to them. This is bull. Because they worshiping, don't make a covenant. If you make a marriage, that's a covenant, right? Okay. But these are wicked men. Pay attention. This is all good stuff. Which are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. Since we separated ourselves to Yahweh, we had much sorrow. Look at this. So this device pleased them well. Then certain other people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license. They got a license. They got documentation. Boy. To do after them the ordinances of the heathen. Man, we finna read this. This is Hanukkah. Man, I'm telling you, when you know the real story, you look at it different. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. They went directly to the Kadash city of Yahuwah and built a temple to worship demons. Boy, y'all finna see something, I'm telling you. If you don't see it in today's time, you need to pray because you're blind. And made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the Kadash covenant. I want to say that they didn't make themselves uncircumcised physically. Just because you had the circumcision, when you do evil, you become uncircumcised. Boy. So you can't boast on your circumcision when you're wicked. It means nothing. That's what Paul was trying to tell them in Galatians, but people think Paul is evil, so they don't listen to him. If you do a circumcision and still be wicked, that circumcision means nothing. You can't boast in the circumcision if you're wicked at heart. Man, this book be talking, man. Come on, man. Let's go. Hallelujah. And forsook the Kadash covenant, see, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. Now, when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Mizraim, which is Egypt, that he might have dominion over 2 realms. See? Man, wherein he entered into Egypt or Mizraim with a great multitude, with chariots, elephants, horsemen, and a great navy. Pay attention to that. And made war against Ptolemy. Who learned about Ptolemy in school? I did. He's related to Cleopatra. See? And so while everybody's saying, well, Cleopatra didn't look like this or look like that, I don't argue that because her father was a Greek who reigned in Rome, in Egypt. See? She was mixed. Man, let's go, man. Let's talk. Everybody screaming and arguing over color and don't look at facts. Get what I'm saying? Ptolemy was a Macedonian. He just ruled in Egypt. He wasn't black. Okay. All right. I'm trying to give you history and all this together, so bear with me. King of Mizraim, but Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. And they got strong cities in the land of Mizraim, and he took spoils thereof. And after Antiochus had smitten Mizraim, he returned again into 140th and 3rd year, and went up against Yahshar'alym in Jerusalem with a great multitude, and entered proudly in a sanctuary, and took away the golden altar, the menorah of light, and all the vessels thereof. He robbed the place. Why? He had already been given a go-ahead by evil men of Yahshar'alym. They didn't care. Man, listen. It was us again. And the table of the showbread, and the pouring of vessels, and the vials, and the censers of gold, and the veils, and the crown, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, which he pulled off, all which he pulled off. He also took the silver and the gold, and precious vessels, and he took in hidden treasures which he had found. This is the same thing that Belshazzar did, Nebuchadnezzar's son, when Daniel and the 3 Hebrew boys they holler about, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. The reason why it happened is going to continue to happen. What I want to show you is is a pastor nowadays, and he left witchcraft. And he talks about this thing called the Nemo cycle, that witchcraft has a continual cycle that goes on and on if you don't break it. It's called a Nemo cycle. That's the same thing with Abaryt or Deuteronomy. Yahuwah said these curses shall pursue you. If you don't break them, they are continual cycles. So what we see happen in Babylon is going to happen again. Watch this right here from the king of Macedonia, who took over Jerusalem. It's an ongoing thing. That's why Yahushua had to come. You get what I'm saying? So the continual cycles that we see are ever pursuing us. That's why the heathen is always after us. Because our people don't get right. Our people as a whole. You get what I'm saying? The wicked men of Yahshar'alym is still Yahshar'alym. Y'all catch me? That's like Achan. I'll give you this example. When Yahushua wanted to take Ai, or what they call Ai, he couldn't overtake Ai because Achan, a person and his family in the group, had took Babylonian garments, took the garments, and they had broke Torah. So when they broke Torah, it affected the righteous. Because we're all one unit, one body. That's why he said, up off your face. There's crime in the camp. Go take care of that. You're going to hear these stories here. And I'm going to give you another brief one. Phineas, or who they call Panihash, that's his Abaryt name, which means face of a serpent. I don't know why Eli or Ali called his son that. I don't know if he was ugly or what. But Panihash, when they were sleeping with the women at Baal Peor and they had took on the unrighteous women and caused a curse on them, he threw a spear through one of them. And when he threw that spear, it released the curse. See, this is all book. It's going to be recorded in here. So I'm reading it to you so you'll get the understanding. You have to break the curses. All right. So here we go. So 25. Well, let's go 24. And they had taken all away and went to his own land, having a great massacre. Having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly. Therefore, there was a great mourning in Yahshar'alym. Killed a lot of people. Man, in every place where they were. So that the princes and elders mourned. The virgin and young men were made feeble. The beauty of women was changed. This was all prophesied to happen, y'all. This was all prophesied to happen. So no matter how long it took to get here, it happened still. Though it tarried, wait on it. And every bridegroom took up lamentation, and she that sat in marriage chamber was in heaviness, and the land was so moved by the inhabitants thereof, and the house of Yaakov was covered with confusion. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent the chief collector of tribute, wanted money, unto the cities of Yehuda, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spoke peaceable words unto him. Where we heard that from? The book of Daniel. So you can't read these books without understanding that these are prophecies that's all connected. So watch this. They spoke peaceable words unto them, but all were deceit. They were peaceful words, but they were lies. Sound like our leadership in the United States. For when they have given them credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote very sore and destroyed much people of Yahshar'alym. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire and pulled down houses and walls, therefore on every side. But the women and children they took captive and possessed the cattle. And they built the city of Daud. They built the city of Daud with a great and strong wall. They enforced it with a wall. And with mighty towers, and made a stronghold for them. And they were put therein a crime-filled nation inside the city. Wicked men, and fortified themselves therein. And they stored it also with armor and victuals. And they had gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, and they laid them up there. And so they became a sore snare. And it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary. See, it was against Yahuwah's temple. Man. An evil adversary to Yahshar'alym. And they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary and defiled it. It don't say where's one piece of oil left that was all right. They shed innocent blood. This is Torah. I'm finna read all to you this. And it says shed innocent blood and defiled it. I'll read that in a second once I'm done. Man, but right here. Man. Insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon the city was made a habitation of strangers, and became strange to those that were born in her. It's not even like the city they knew. Man. And became strange to those who were born in her, and our own children left her. Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. All this is prophecy, y'all. Her feasts were turned into mourning, her Sabbaths into reproach, her honor into contempt. And what had been her honor or esteem, so was her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned to mourning. Let's go to Numbers 35 and 33 real quick. Let me show y'all something. This is Bimad Bar, our Numbers 35 and 33. This is Numbers 35, 33. This is the Torah. So you shall not pollute out the land wherein you are in, for blood it defiles out the land, and the land could not be cleansed of the blood that is shed thereof, but by the blood of him that shed it. So when they came and defiled the land, they defiled the land that they were in because of the wicked men of Yahshar'alym, and until their blood is shed, and the wicked heathens that are shedding the blood, it will continue to be defiled. So how did they get a cruise of oil that was clean or pure when the whole thing is defiled, even the entire land? I'm just pointing out the lies real quick. So that goes with verse 37. So let's go to Amos 8 real quick. I want to show you that all this stuff was prophesied and all this stuff was told. So what we see in this book is really a spiritual book of prophecy that meets history to show that the history actually was fulfilled. You get what I'm saying? Watch Amos 8. Man, Abaryt Yahshar'alym, man, for his word. Hallelujah. Listen to this. The prophet Amos was nowhere around when this popped off. Listen to this. Thus has Adonai Yahuwah showed unto me, behold, a basket of summer fruit. He said, Amos, what do you see? And I said, a basket of summer fruit. Then said Yahuwah unto me, the end is come upon my people of Yahshar'alym, the whole people. I will not again pass by them anymore. The songs of the temple shall be howling in the day, says Adonai Yahuwah. There shall be many dead bodies in every place. Did you not read in Maccabees? It said it was a great massacre. Man, listen to this. And they shall cast them forth with silence. Hear this, O ye that swallow up the needy, even to make the poor the land of fail. So he's talking directly to people who was consuming at that time in Yahshar'alym, who wouldn't even help the poor. Boy. We got to do better. Saying, when will the renewing be gone, that we may sell grain? See, they just ready to get more money. Greedy. And the Shabbat, that we may set forth wheat, and making an ephah small, and the shekel great, falsifying the balances by deceit. Yahuwah says a false balance is an abomination to him. Pay attention. And that we may buy the poor for silver, and the needy for a pair of shoes. Boy. Yea, and sell the refuse of the wheat. Yahuwah has sworn by the excellency of Yaakov, surely I will never forget any of their works. Wow. Shall not the land tremble for this, and everyone mourn that dwells therein? It shall rise up wholly as a flood. It shall be cast out and drowned as by the flood of Mizraim. Why did he use Mizraim? He used Egypt, because Egypt was coming back to them again. Remember, it said that we'll go back into Mizraim or Egypt by ships. That didn't happen before. I'm going to show you. Man. And it shall come to pass in that day, says Adonai Yahuwah, that I will cause the sun to go down at noon. Pay attention to that. And will darken Haaretz in a clear day. See what he's saying when Yahuwah is prophesying? He giving us a piece of physical history, and that's going to happen. And then say, I'm going to make this happen too. But see, we're always looking for all of it at once. But it's always to lead us to Hamashiach, to the Messiah. What happened when he was executed? It became at 12 noon, black as darkness. But what is he doing? He's showing us that while we're being attacked, he still has a promise in place. Hallelujah. Man, he still has a promise in place. So when we see Mashiach, it's linked to Maccabees too. Man, y'all give me a second, man. When you always show me this stuff, man, it just blows me away. I will turn your feast in the morning, and all your songs in the lamentation. I will bring up a sackcloth upon all loins, and baldness upon every head. I will make it as the mourning of a Yahid, where the Abaryt word Yahid, they translate it to the mourning of an only son. Why? Because he was going to send his only, his Yahid, Yahushua. So he's saying, while this is happening, I have a plan in place. But they're not hearing this. When they're hearing these prophecies, they're not even hearing these prophets for real. They don't know that these are key words that's in there that say Mashiach was coming. Yahushua was coming. Man, listen. But behold, the days come, says Adonai Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but the hearing out of the words of Yahweh. Why? Because you had to go to the temple to hear the words. They read them before the people. It's not like us now having a book everywhere we go and still don't read it. They had to get the word. So when the temple was destroyed, he's saying this is a famine that's finna happen. You won't be able to eat my words. Boy, boy, boy. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from north to east, and they shall run to and fro, and seek out the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. In the day shall fair virgins and young men faint for thirst, and they that swear by the crime of Samaria, saying, Your Elohim, O Dan, lives, and the manner of Baal Sheba shall live and shall fail and never rise up again. Let me see. Let me go back. Let's go back to Maccabees real quick, man. This thing is, these prophets are not just talking in this book. What I want to do while I'm telling you this is to tell you that just because it hadn't happened yet, don't mean it's not going to happen. It's a cycle. It's always coming. And we have to ready ourselves spiritually before we can even get ready physically. So here we go. Man. Abaryt Yahshar'alym. Yeah, we back at Maccabees 1, and we're going to go 41 now. I wanted to show you that what Amos prophesied was exactly what was happening to them in the first part of this book of Maccabees. The exact thing. Even the sackcloth. Pay attention. Watch this. Moreover, the king Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. Look, he's trying to be Elohim. One Torah is for the foreigner and the native born. See what he's doing? So now the law is for one people. Man, it's good. I'm sorry. I get excited. And everyone should leave his laws. That's the Torah. So that all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of Yahshar'alym consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Shabbat. For the king had sent letters by messengers into Jerusalem and the cities of Yehudah that they should follow the strange laws of the land and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple. There was an evening and morning sacrifice. It had to happen continually. They sent the letters to stop all that. Boy. So that they should profane the Sabbath or Shabbat and the feast days. Hit it all at once. And pollute the sanctuary and the Kadash people. And they set up altars. Listen to this. An Asherah pole. If you look up Asherah in the Abaryt means woman of evil. In Jeremiah or Yirmiyahu 7 and Yirmiyahu 40, chapter 7 and 40, is the queen of heaven. Asherah means woman of evil. The pole that's erected is the male shaft to represent her joining to it. It's what we call nowadays the Tannenbaum, a.k.a. the Christmas tree. It was originally called the Tannenbaum religion. So watch this. I'm finna read it. I'm excited. I'm sorry. I'm pushing forward a little bit. But what they did was they went directly to the city where Yahweh calls his name from and says, this is my place, and set right beside him an altar and an Asherah pole and a temple to a devil. That's what they doing now. That's why they say keep Christ in paganness. They put it together. See what I'm saying? So when we should be recognizing Hanukkah and what they did to us, they drop it in the same month. Look what month we in. Hanukkah finna come up. Why do you think they drop it in the same month. For if we remember, if we forget, we won't remember his commandments. See? So they set up their religion so that we'll follow it, so that we won't obey his belief system. Man, I'm finna show y'all. I'm trying to. Man, watch this. They set up Asherah poles and chapels of idols. That's a cathedral all day. You can say whatever you want. Because every cathedral, when you look at Catholicism, have demons from the front to the back. If you know anything about Catholicism, they got idols from the time you step in that boy to the time you walk out that boy.
They got a church in Taiwan. There's a big old Catholic church.
Mm-hmm.
And they get all those apostles and scribes and all statues of outside it's a trail where they walk and they don't even know.
Cathedral of idols. Pay attention to this. And sacrificed swine's flesh. Do you not have a pagan's ham at that time? When you talk about bloody bunny, Easter, you have a ham now. They sacrifice swine's flesh to get a barakah or to receive something from the demons they worship. Do you hear me? So these hams and all this that they selling at this time, man, listen, where I work at, we moved so much ham one time. They said they didn't want the turkey. They moved over, I know, at least 1,000 to 2,000 pounds of just ham. Ham. I know a guy bought $925 worth himself. Because ham is a part of their worship. They've learned this. This is their ways. We picked up their ways. And they did this, and man, listen, I'm finna read you this in the book of Daniel. See, everybody want to jump to Daniel and Revelations and try to look for the end time. No, he was prophesying for what came already in Maccabees. Man, come on, bro. These scriptures are given for us to watch now because it's coming again. It's for us to watch now. But if we don't see this in the book then, how will we be ready for what's coming now? Man, listen, let's go. Swine flesh. Not Daniel yet. We still in Maccabees 47. I'm going to Daniel in 1 second. We're Mark 1 and 47. I read that. It says, an unclean beast. So not only swine, other unclean beasts. Man, listen. And they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation to the end that they may forget the Torah. The whole reason it was done, forget the Torah Yahuwah. And change all the ordinances. Change times and law. And tear down that which is true. This is Daniel. See, we always looking over here in them fake movies and the Russian is the anti-Messiah. And coming out of Russia and you're going to be raptured up and be naked and fly up in the air and your clothes going to be left on airplanes and foolishness. You see what they do? And we believe it. Man, listen. And whosoever should not do according to the commandment of the king, he said, should die. Watch this. And in the selfsame manner wrote he the whole kingdom and appointed overseers, a.k.a. officers. Nowadays. How many, man, pay attention right now. I'm going to be honest with you. Officers are overseers. It's just another way to say it. Pay attention to how many police are going to have Toys for Tot runs, giving toys to the children at this time, dressing like Santa Claus. Pay attention. I'm just telling you, they do that because they're like, oh, the law enforcement in it. Oh, this is just a great time. Everybody's in peace. By peace, they shall destroy many. Come on now. This is book prophesied to us. But we don't see it nowadays because we think we have a form of freedom that's false freedom. Man, come on, bro. And all the people commanded the cities of Yehuda to sacrifice, the cities of Yehuda, the Yahudi, to sacrifice city by city. And many other people were gathered to them, to wit, everyone that forsook the Torah, so that they committed evils in the land, and drove Yahshar'alym into secret places. For even wheresoever they could flee for help, the real Yahshar'alym, the real people that were righteous, were fleeing for help. Man, come on. Man, let's keep going. Let's keep going. And in the 15th day of the 9th month. Forget that Kislev. That's some Jewish foolishness. It's Tashiyah. It's the 9th month of Yahuwah. Watch this. In the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation. Remember, Mashiach said, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by the prophet Daniel. Well, see, that was another coming of it. It was already placed here. Man, listen. And when you Google it, it's the image of the Z demon in Greek mythology. And I'm getting there for a second. But he set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar and the idol altars throughout the cities of Yehudah on every side. They burned incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. Burned incense. Pay attention. And when they had rent in pieces, they tore in pieces the letters or the scrolls or books of the Torah. They tore up the word. Boy. Pay attention to this, man. Which they found and burnt them with fire. And whosoever was found with any sefer or book of the covenant, or who committed to the Torah, boy. The king's commandment was that they should put him to death. Man. Thus they did in authority unto Yahshar'alym every month. So as many were found in the cities. Watch this. Pay attention, y'all. Now the 25th day of the month. Y'all hear this. Pay attention. They did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of Elohim. So in the 25th day of the month, y'all, this is December right now. Pay attention to what I'm trying to tell you. On the 25th day, there was an altar erected at that time in place of the Elohim we worship. In place of Yahuwah, they set up their altar. They put up their tree. Boy, listen closely. This is the 9th month right now. We are in the 18th day of the 9th month. Hanukkah is next week. Do you understand? In their 25th day, it's in our 9th month. But see, they moved the calendar where you can't see it like that. Because December is the 12th month. See? But in the 9th month, they're doing the exact same thing, y'all. And the 25th day is going to be their time. You see? We're celebrating Hanukkah. It's not that time. But they're waiting to the 25th day of their calendar to do this wickedness. Boy. Let's go. Because you notice it says in the 25th day of the month. Because what it's trying to tell you is our months wasn't matching even then. Man, I'm going to keep going. I'm sorry. In which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women. Listen to this. That had caused their children to be circumcised. Why? Because they have a sacrifice every time. When you say Christ must, it means the continual sacrifice of the Messiah and anything that derives from him. They kill children at this time. Why do you think people are abducted so many times during the year, from Halloween to Thanksgiving to paganism to Bloody Bunny? It's always we get these alerts, these Amber Alerts. They just saved like 26 kids. I believe, Steph, when we saw Abaryt Yahshar'alym, when we got that on the news, they said 26 kids were found. Yeah, 26 people that was abducted. Thank you. They abducting, see, it says women and children. They sex trafficking and stuff. All that's part of their rituals. Man. It's right here in the book. That's why they had to take it out. And they hang the infants about their necks. The ornaments on them trees represent hanging babies. You can say whatever you want to do. You can go look it up. You can argue with me. You can get mad at me. But that represents, when you hang an ornament on a tree, you don't hear ornaments in this book. It's going to come up. But when they hang that, they're representing the hanging bodies on trees. Man, listen, bro. And they rifled their houses and slew them that circumcised it. Howbeit many of Yahshar'alym was fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. Wherefore, rather to die, that they may not defile with meats. See, just like Daniel. They'd rather die than eat swine's flesh. See, we think it's a light thing now. They'd rather die. You can't get the black community to leave that swine alone. They think you're crazy. Back then, they'd rather die than eat it. Man, come on. Man, we should jump in this. And they might not be defiled with meats, and they might not profane the Kadash covenant. The temple already was provided. But it's the covenant that stands. It's the promise that stands. They didn't just give up because the temple was defiled. They didn't want to break his covenant. Man, boy, it's good. So then they died, and there was great wrath upon Yahshar'alym. Now let's go to Daniel real quick. Let's go to the book of Daniel 9, because he prophesied all this. Let's start at 8. We're going to start at 8. I'm reading this, and we may have to break this up into 2 parts or 3 parts or whatever, because Maccabees is a full-on book. I'm trying to give you what Hanukkah is, though. This is the reason why Hanukkah meant so much to our people, because this was happening to them at the time. Let's go to Daniel, man. Now you'll understand what Daniel is actually talking about. People don't, they throw these prophecies out. You got a guy, some Christian pastor, he got a prophecy thing over there in the false Jerusalem over there. He done made a prophecy thing, and he said Saddam Hussein was the great angel that came out of the ground in Revelation 9. Because they pulled him out of a hole. And I called that dude, man, they hung up on me once again. But I called, I said, man, how you say that's Saddam Hussein and it's spiritual? I said, are you crazy? Then they hang up and keep talking to me. That's a great question you ask. Man, boy. Anyway. And Pastor Simmons was like, I heard you on there, man. He said, that was good what you said. Anyway, watch this. Pay attention to this, man. This is Daniel. Man, boy, there's so much to cover. Let's start at Daniel. Boy, so much. 8. Let's start at 8. Because we're going to get 8 and 9. I want y'all to hear this. In the 3rd year of the reign of the king of Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me Daniel. After that which appeared unto me at the first, and I saw a vision, and it came to pass when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, which was in the province of Elim, and I saw in a vision. Man, boy, that's good. And I was by the river of Ulai, and I lifted up my eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before a river a ram, which had 2 horns. And the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other. And the higher came up last, and I saw out the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beast might stand before him. He's seeing Alexander the Great. Man, remember it said he conquered so much it became quiet. Man, I'll show you in a second. I'll show you. Sorry, I'm standing aside. And no beast might stand before him, and neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand. But he did according to his will and became great. Alexander the Great. Let's leave it there. And I was considering, behold, a he-goat come from the west in the face of the whole earth, and touched not the ground. And the goat has a noticeable horn in between his eyes. And he came to the ram that had 2 horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him with his fury and power. And I saw him come close to the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote out the ram, and broke his 2 horns. And there was no power in the ram to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground and stamped upon him. And there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great. And when he was strong, and the horn was broken, for it came up 4 notable ones towards the 4 winds of heaven. And one out of them came forth a little horn, and waxed exceedingly great. See, everybody always prophesies that it's the Anti-Mashiach. But see, the book says the Anti-Mashiach is already on Haaretz. We looking for something that already exists. Man, listen. Let's go. Boy. For it says, out of them came forth a little horn, and waxed exceeding great, toward the south, towards the east, toward the pleasant land, towards the pleasant land. That's Jerusalem. And it waxed great, even to the host of heaven, and cast down some of the hosts and stars to the ground, and stamped upon him. And he magnified himself even to the prince of the host, and by him the daily was taken away. Why does it say daily? Daily sacrifices. You see that? Daniel don't have to put sacrifices in there. We know what the daily is. They're supposed to do it daily. Man, boy, this book is clear. And the place of his sanctuary was cast down. That's the temple being destroyed. What I just read to you in Maccabees. And the host was given to him against the daily by reason of transgression. The reason why Christians are guessing as what's going on is because they removed the book of Maccabees. They don't see what done happened because that's not in their 66 books. A pastor came to me at my job the other day. He always come in and we have good talks. He said, how many pages is in the Bible? And just random stuff. I said, well, I don't know. I said, because I got added books to mine and I read the book of Enoch. He was like, oh, okay. I mean, I can't give you a number because I got more books. So it says, a host was given him against the daily. A host, an army was given him against the daily. See, they can't do the daily sacrifices because they put the host. When it says host, they put their spirits in there. The idols and stuff right in the temple. Man, listen to this, boy. I'm sorry. By the reason of transgression, it cast the truth to the ground. You hear this. And it practiced and prospered. And I heard a Kadash speaking, and another Kadashly saying unto certain Kadash, or the righteous, or the called out, which spoke, how long shall the vision concerning the daily, it's the daily sacrifices, the transgression of desolation, and to give both the sanctuary and the host be trodden underfoot? Here the question. And they said unto them, unto 2,300 mornings and evenings, Bakar and Arab. See there? Morning and evening sacrifices. See? You have to put it together knowing what was trodden down. Man, then you won't come up with no Saddam Hussein foolishness. Then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. See, that's Hanukkah. He prophesied Hanukkah. Then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. Man, come on. And it came to pass, when I, even Daniel, seen out the vision, sought for the meaning, and behold, there stood before me as an appearance of a man. And I heard the voice between the banks of Ulai, and called and said, Gabriel, this Yahushua's talking. Man, boy. Gabriel, make this man understand out the vision. Only the Ruh can let you understand it. You cannot understand this stuff in man's traditions and talking and all this. Hallelujah. So he came near where I stood, and he came, and I was afraid and fell upon my face. And he said unto me, understand, O son of Adam, for at the time of the end shall be the vision. Now he was speaking with me. It was a deep sleep on my face towards the ground, but he touched me and made me upright. And he said, behold, I will make you know what shall be at the last end of indignation. See, when we hear end, we think the final piece. That ain't it. The end happens when they kick it off. You get what I'm saying? We are still in the last days. We've been saying that for years. This last days is a kickoff time. It's like a timer that kicks things off. Man, listen to this, man. Abaryt Yahshar'alym. And it says, the ram which you saw, having two horns, is the king of Media and Persia. Pay attention. Pay attention. We're going to go to that. Remember when I read in Maccabees at the start, Darius was ruling. Boy, man, let's go. And the rough goat is the king of Yaban, is a Greek. See, I told you. He's seen this. And the great horn between the eyes is the first king. Now, with that being broken, whereof four stood up, and 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. And in the latter time of the kingdom, when the transgressions are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding and dark sicknesses shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. Why? Because he receives it from Hashatan. Man, come on. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and Kadash people. And through his policy shall he cause craft to prosper in his hand. What's craft? Witchcraft. Remember, they brought a letter to the king and got licensed through the policy. Man, boy, let's keep going. That's why it's continuing now. What Daniel prophesied was, that's why he told him to shut it up, because all of it wasn't revealed. It was growing into this. Right. Man. Here we go. And he shall magnify himself in his heart. What did I read about Alexander the Great? He shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace, I read that. He said by peace, his deceit was strong with the people. He shall destroy many. And he shall also stand up against the prince of princes. If you put, listen, man, calm down. If you put an altar right beside Elohim, he is the prince of princes. We looking for something that's already happened and is already here. You got people got Christmas trees up, got the fire lit, waiting for Santa Claus, talking about, I wonder what the end time is going to be. You in them. You one of the dudes. You Satan's children. While we doing this, let's watch Left Behind. Let's watch the series. You are doing what was already set in place in Maccabees. Man, let me keep reading. But he shall be broken without hand. Why is without hand? Because Yahushua gonna do it, not us. We can't get enough guns, pistols, rifles, anything to fight this. You can protect yourself. You can buy you a weapon. Because Yahushua told them, they said they had 2 swords. He said, you have enough. But you cannot fight against what's behind them because they said he's not by his own power. Hashatan is behind him. Man, come on, man. Listen, man, I'm following the rule, man. Right? I talked to some people from Africa, and they say from youth, they train their children to summon demons and catch bullets. You hear what I just told you. How you gonna fight something like that? They train them to summon demons from childhood that when they summon that power, they can block bullets. You better get Yahuwah. And you better walk in his spirit for protection. I talked to that person. Man, listen. And from the vision of the evening and the morning was told is true. Wherefore you shut up the vision. For it shall be for many days. It wasn't for that time. See, I told you. The evening and the morning sacrifice was destroyed for many days. It was coming. Daniel heard it was coming. You get what I'm saying? Man, listen, man. But I, Daniel, fainted and was sick certain days. Afterward, I rose up. Because why would you be not sick? Why would you be scared for what you just heard? And rose up and did the king's business. And I was astonished at the vision. But none understood it. It wasn't for them. It's for you. Here's 9. Listen to this. And in the first year of Darius, the son of Abaryt, see, the seed of Madai. Remember when I started off reading Maccabees, that was who was in charge. Man, come on. And made king over the realm of the Chaldeans of the Casdim. In the first year of reign, I, Daniel, understood the Sepharim, or the writings, or the books of the number of years, wherefore the word of Yahweh came unto Yirmiyahu, the prophet, that he would accomplish in 70 years the desolation of Jerusalem. That's what we just read. Daniel seen this by what? Following the word of Yahweh from another prophet. That history, prophecy is fulfilling history. Man, come on. And I set my face to Elohim Adonai to seek prayer and supplication. This is what we should be doing. And fasting and sackcloth and ashes. And I prayed unto Yahweh Elohai and made my confession and said, O Adonai, great and dreadful all, guarding the covenant and mercy to them that love him and to them that guard his commandments. See, that's what we protect. We have committed crime. See, he's praying for the whole nation. We have committed crime, and we have committed lawlessness, and we have done wickedly, and we have rebelled, even departing from your precepts and from your judgments. Neither have we hearkened unto the servants, your prophets. Man, boy. And you spoke your name, which you spoke in your name to our kings, to our princes, to our fathers, and all people of the land. And Adonai, righteousness belongs to you. And unto confusion, but unto us is confusion of faces, as is this day, unto the men of Yehuda, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, unto all Yahshar'alym that is near and to far off, through the countries which you have driven them, because of their transgression, they have transgressed against you, O Adonai. To us belong confusion of faith. See, this had already happened to them. He's praying for his people. It's continual. And you have to realize that as a whole, we must repent. As a whole, we must come in righteousness to Yahweh. Man, boy. Oh, Adonai, to us belong confusion of face and our kings, our princes, our fathers, because we have committed crime against you. To Adonai Eloheinu, our power, belongs mercies and forgiveness. Though we have rebelled against him, neither have we obeyed the voice of Yahuwah Eloheinu, and walk in his Torah, which is placed before us by his servants, the prophets, or the Nabim. Yea, Yahshua has transgressed your Torah, even by departing, that they may not obey your voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us. Yeah. You hear this? You can't escape something solo. You have to understand we must come together. If my people, who are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and heal their land. We got to understand that we must come to understanding and agreement together to walk in his book, no matter what's going on out there. Watch this, man. And the oath that is written in the Torah of Moshe and the servant of Elohim, because we have committed crime against him and confirmed his words and spoke against us and against our judges that judged us, and by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven has not been done that has been done unto Jerusalem. Man, as it is written in the Torah of Moshe, all this evil shall come upon us. Yet we made not our prayer before Yahuwah Eloheinu, our power, that we might turn from our lawlessness. So all this evil came, and he's saying the problem is we hadn't turned back in prayer. We hadn't sought him. See? Man, boy. And understand your truth. See? Therefore, Yahweh watched upon the evil and brought it upon us. For Yahuwah Eloheinu is righteous in all his works. He allowed this to happen because he told you it was happening, and you come to him and be protected, but you didn't want to. Man, listen. Which he does, for we obey not his voice. And now, O Adonai Eloheinu, that what is brought up on your people forth out of the land of Egypt, or Mitzrayim, with a mighty hand, has gotten you renowned as this day. We have committed crime and done wickedly. O Adonai, according to your righteousness, I beseech you, let your anger and your fury be turned away from your city, Jerusalem. That's why every evil king wants to go there and place up their altars. Man, listen. Your Kadash mountain. Because for our crimes and for our lawlessness of our fathers, our ancestors, Jerusalem, your people, are become a reproach to all that are about us. Now therefore, our Elohim, hear the prayer of your servant and the supplications, because of your face to shine upon your sanctuary that is desolate. For Adonai's sake, O my Elohim, incline your ear and hear. Open your ears. Remember, Daniel is praying right now for Jerusalem, and it's desolate already. It's continually becoming desolate. That's why we needed the Mashiach. Man, listen. You cannot deny the Messiah because he has to rededicate your temple, your body. The temple was always designed to be destroyed because we did not want to obey. So Yahuwah, knowing this already, had a plan in place to bring us back to him, where the temple that they have to destroy is this body. Man, come on, bro. Let me keep going. Now, therefore, our Elohim, hear the prayer of your servant and supplication, because of your face to shine upon the sanctuary that is desolate, for Adonai's sake. For my Elohim, incline your ear and hear. Open your ears and behold our desolations, the city which is called by your name. For we do not present our supplication before you in our righteousness, but for your great mercy. He said, it's not because of my righteousness I'm praying to you. I need your mercy. O Adonai, hear. O Adonai, forgive. O Adonai, hearken and do. Deliver not for your own sake, my Elohim, your city, and your people who are called by your name. While I was speaking and in prayer, confessing my crime and the crime of Yahshar'alym, presenting my supplication before Yahuwah Elohai for the Kadash mountain of Elohim. Yea, while I was speaking in prayer, guess who come again? Even the man Gabriel, the one who gave him the last vision. This man is a messenger, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, being caused to fly swiftly touched me about the time of the evening oblation, the evening sacrifice. He knew what time it was supposed to happen. You hear this? Gabriel touched him and talked to him at the time of the evening sacrifice. Man, boy, let me. And he informed me and talked with me and said, "Oh, Daniel, now I'm come forth to give you skill and understanding of Benah. At the beginning of your supplications, the word came forth, and I have come down to show you, for you are greatly beloved." Boy, I love to hear that. "Therefore, understand the matter and consider the vision for 70 Shabbats or 70 Sabbaths." You hear this? "Cut off our people from the Kadash city, to finish the transgression, to make an end of crimes, to make reconciliation for lawlessness, to bring in everlasting righteousness, and seal up the vision and the prophecy, and to anoint the Kadash of Kadashness. Know therefore and understand from the going forth of the words to return to build Jerusalem until Hamashiach." You see, he put the Messiah in there, right? Man, come on, boy. "Until Hamashiach the Prince is 7 Sabbaths, 62 Sabbaths. Return and build the wide place with eagerness in troubled times. After 62 Shabbats, cut off is Mashiach." You hear this, man? "But nothing of the Kadash city is ruined, and the people of the prince to come thereafter will conquer until the war is decided with devastation. And the greatness of the covenant multiplies for one Shabbat. In the middle of the Shabbat, the sacrifice and oblation cease, and the overspreading of the abomination makes it desolate, even until the consummation is determined and poured over the desolation." Why did I read all that? I read all this to show you that the reason why Yahushua says abomination, desolation, the reason why Maccabees shows the abomination of desolation, the reason why Daniel said the abomination of desolation is because you cannot escape it on your own. You need Yahushua. Because these Goyim are going to continue to do the same exact thing. If Mashiach was the complete all in all of it, why would he say, pray that your flight don't be on the Shabbat or the winter? Pray that, it don't be this and that. Why would he break all that down if what he did was completed? He knows, because he's the one designed this, that there must be a fulfillment later. There must be a fulfillment later. That's why he says, when you see the abomination of desolation standing in the Kadash place, the place where Elohim has his temple. Huh? Man, boy. As spoken of by the prophet Daniel. Let's go to Maccabees again. Man, what time is it? No, I'm going. Man, I gotta show y'all this, man. Man. Y'all got to understand that what we see in this America is a spiritual Egypt. It is Mizraim. Watch this. At the same time, it's Egypt and Rome again. It's the two realms. See, he made two realms, Egypt and Greece, or Egypt and Rome. Kittim merged with them back then. When we see it here, it's the same two realms. But we wouldn't know this because we didn't have Maccabees. Man, listen. So what I'm finna teach you about Hanukkah is not a religious festival. It's a remembrance to rededicate your temple. Man, boy. Let's go back to Maccabees, man. This thing is crazy. It's amazing how your word is true. So, let's go to Maccabees chapter, this is same chapter, first chapter, chapter 2, I'm sorry. First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 1. I want y'all to hear this, and I'm going to try to break it down. What we don't get to, I'll get to it another time, y'all willing, and we'll dive in the period, but I want you to hear this. Second Maccabees 1. In those days arose Yahu, the son of Yehohanan. Every time there's an attack spiritually on Yahshar'alym, he rises up men that's going to stand. They don't have to be prophets. They watchmen. He rises up people that's going to be Kadash and going to speak and going to stand. Where will you stand in that? The son of Shimon, priest of the sons of Yerah, from Jerusalem and dwelt in Modin. He had 5 sons, Yehuhanan, called Kaddis, or Sadis. Shimon he called Tasib. Yehuda, who was called Maccabee. See, that's where we get Judah Maccabee from, or Judah in the book of Maccabees. Maccabee in Abaryt means my hammer. He was the Hebrew hammer. That boy bad. He was already named Maccabee, which means my hammer. Man, this is good stuff. Azar, called Abaryt and Yahshar'alym, whose name was Apus. And it says, when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Yehuda and Yerushalayim, he said, woe is me. This is where Jews get that oy vey from. It's not really oy vey, it's actually uy, or uy-lai, or uy-li. When you say uy-li, that's what woe is me is. That's why when you see Jews now, they say oy vey, that's where they get that from. They get it from the complete opposite. So when they seen this stuff happen, they say, woe is me. Woe is me, wherefore I was born to see the misery of my people in the Kadesh city, and to dwell in it and deliver into the hand of the enemy, her sanctuary into the hand of strangers. See, Daniel prophesied all this. It already happened. Her temple has become a man without esteem. Her esteemed vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets. Her young men with the sword of the enemy. What nation has not got a part of her kingdom and gotten her spoils? See, Yahshar'alym was a pure, chaste version of Yahuwah. Now all the nations done had a part of her because of our wickedness. And her ornaments, pay attention to that, are taken away. Of a free woman she has become a bondservant. And behold, our sanctuary, even our beauty and our esteem, is laid waste. And other people have profaned it. And therefore, shall we live any longer? And Matyahu and his sons tore their clothes and put on sackcloth and mourn very sore. I read that in the book of Amos. He said, you will have on sackcloth because of what you see happening to your people. This prophet already knew this. And meanwhile, the king's officers, such compelled people to revolt, came in the city of Modin and made them sacrifice. And he was making people sacrifice to this idol, Asherah. Man, boy. And when the many of Yahshar'alym came unto him, Matyahu also and his sons came together, and answered the king's officers and said to Matyahu on this wise, you are a ruler. Look at him. Them enticing words. You are a ruler and an honorable and great man in the city, and strengthened with sons and brethren. Now, therefore, come you first. I want you to do it first. And fulfill the king's commandment, like as the heathen has done. Yea, the men of Yehuda also, such as the remain in Jerusalem, so shall you and your house and the number of the king's friends, and you and your children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards. Silver and gold. How many Christmas songs you hear about silver and gold? Man, I'm telling you, bro. They set us up. But he went to Matthew first. He went to the ruler first, because if he get him to do it, everybody will be with it. But watch what happened. Let's watch what happened. Then Matthew answered and spoke with a loud voice and whisper, though all the nations are under the king's dominion, obey him, and fall away everyone from the belief of their fathers, and give consent to the commandments. Let me say this. That's why when Shaul says, come subject to those who rule over you, it's talking about righteous rulers. Yeah. Not Trump nor Biden. It's talking about righteous rulers. You don't come subject to everybody that rule over you. There's no scripture in the book that shows that. If it breaks the Torah of Yahuwah, stand against it. He is Malak Shal called Malakim, the King of Kings. You stand subject to him. You don't follow every foolishness. Everything Shaul said was in context, man. So here we go. And it says, yet... This is 20. Yet will I and my sons and my Ahim, or brethren, walk in the covenant of our fathers. For be it that we should forsake the Torah and ordinances, we shall not listen to the king's words to go from our belief, either on the right hand or to the left. Boy, that cranked you up. Now, when he left speaking these words, there came one of the Yahudim, his own people. You hear this? Not a Goyim, not a Yavanim, not a Greek, not an Egyptian. His own dude in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar which was at Modin, according to the king's commandment. Which thing when Matthew saw, he was inflamed with zeal and his mind trembled. Neither could he forbear to show his anger according to the judgment. Therefore he ran and killed him on the altar. This is not going down and not on my watch, is what he said. Watch this. Also the king's commissioner, who compelled the men to sacrifice, he killed at that time. And the altar he pulled down. He tore it completely down. He didn't start putting it beside himself and worshiping with it, anything. Got rid of it. And watch this. Thus he dealt zealously for the Torah of Elohim like Phinehas. See, I told you, like Phinehas did to Zimri, the son of Shalom, when he threw that spear through Buddy because they were dealing with the women at Baal Peor. It was recorded just as righteous. Man, come on, man. Yahweh cried through the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous for the Torah and maintains the covenant, let him follow me. Sounds like Marsha, don't he? So he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that they ever had in the city. Are you willing to quit your jobs when it go down? Are you willing to leave them nice, beautiful homes you have made when it go down? They left all in the city. They're planning vaccines and stuff now for you to take. Don't play and think that this is not the same thing. Yahuwah is real. Will you be willing to leave all and flee? Amen. And many that sought after the Banah or the Dinah unrighteousness and the judgment went down to the wilderness. The Bambar dwell there, both they and their children and their women and their cattle. That's why if you keep Saku, you already learn how to dwell in the wilderness. You're keeping the feast. You should have stuff ready to leave. We ain't keeping them though. Silver bells. We love that. Hang all the mistletoe. Boy, we get excited. You pagan? Look up mistletoe or holly. It is called a parasite. It is poisonous at the berries. You kissing up under it. Actually, back then they raped you up under it. The kiss is just a timid thing now. We learn from the heathen. We learn from the wicked. And then we right there with them. Got our little bells and ears on. Come on, man. That's why I love to see the brothers and sisters in the belief sitting up on and it's just a barakah to me. Because that means you woke up and left the paganism. The word pagus means hill worshiper. When we call you a pagan, that's what you are. Man, I watched Kirk Cameron and he sat with some pastor, some dude full of pork. And he was talking to the guy, and the guy, Kirk Cameron said, they call us pagans for keeping Christmas. The guy responds, well, actually, we are pagans. He said, no, we are pagans. I was trying to put the link in. I was like, wow. He put it out there like, yeah, this is where it comes from. But we do it because it's part of our culture. When he says our culture, they are heathens. They brought it here. The Tannenbaum, the Germans, the Tannenbaum religion. It was old Tannenbaum before it was old Christmas tree. It's history. Man, come on. And both they and their children and their women and their cattle, because afflictions increased sore upon them. Now when it was told to the king's servants and the host that was at Jerusalem in the city of Dawood, certain men had broken down the king's commandment and gone into the secret place in the wilderness. They pursued after them a great number. I'll just give you a brevity on that because this book is long. I'm just trying to get the points. They came on the Shabbat and they killed 1,000 of us on the Shabbat because we would not fight. We said we wanted, and the men who even that happened to, man, motivated me because they said we'd rather be righteous before Yahweh and let you slay us than even fight you and break his Shabbat. You can read it for yourself. That's righteousness. Because you understand that there's something higher watching you than what these folks doing around you. They honorable. But Matyahu and his son said, we can't keep doing this because even in their righteousness of what they did, we don't want them to utterly wipe us out. We got to fight at some point. But here's one thing. They had to know when the Shabbat was in order to come to them. See? What we arguing for? They even the Goyim knew this. Man, let's keep going. Oh, boy, so much. Let me see. Let's go. Man. One thing I want to say, and I'll get to that. I'll make points because we probably can't cover all this. But watch this. Let's go to Second Maccabees. Let's go to Second Maccabees now, chapter 6. I want you to see this. And see, this is greater than any little cruise of oil you can brag on in the Talmud. This story is way greater than that. They don't tell nothing, man. They got us messed up. Right. And these books were, in the original King James, they hated that man too. He was not a white homosexual either. I've heard so many people talk about it. I don't even know this guy. He was Sovereign Yaakov of Scotland first. He was King James IV of Scotland, black dude. And then he became King James I of England. They'll even tell you that the queen and her people aren't even supposed to be there. They'll tell you that them are imposters. Even on their flag, there's dark-skinned people on the flag, bro. They are lying to us. It's lies. We believe everything we see, man. This man was fighting for us to have this truth and trying to save his kingdoms, both of them, black and white people, trying to save them all. He wrote the book Demonology. If you read it, he says, I'm trying to save you from the sorcery that's around you. He said, just like the Sadducees, you don't even believe that there's a spirit world and you're allowing witches to corrupt y'all. But then demonize that man. That man was fighting against witchcraft. And the Catholic Church is the ones who killed him and the ones who sent the witches. But y'all want to be Christians, though, man. You need to leave that foolishness alone, bro. You need to pull out, man. And I'm going to be praying for people to pull out, especially at this time. Because this time is when it's the ultimate, when the ultimate sacrifice happens right now. Witches call it the grand climax. It's the most wicked time. It's the most wonderful time of the year. You see how they trick us? It's the most wicked time of the year, but you hear them singing it. Boy, sit down. They smooth, man, because all them men singing that, even Beyonce singing it, all of them are devil worshipers. They done tricked us into believing they playing these songs all through the year, and they hearing it, let's come to their houses and sing it. Carolers, knocking on the door, cursing you up. Man, move on, bro. Get away from my door. It's cold out there. You'll get a super soaker. The max one. I'm going to freeze you up. So watch this. I want to read this. 2 Maccabees 6. And we're going to have to probably do a part 2, and I'll let you know, man. I don't want to take up too much time because this book is full, man. Read the book. I want to cover a few more things, and then we go. 2 Maccabees 6 and 1. Not long after the king sent an old man of Athens, his name, the demon. If you watch my teaching Wonder Woman, you'll know that that's her mother, to compel the Yahudim to depart from the Torah of their fathers and not to live after the Torah of Elohim. They always tell us to leave it. Get out that coat you in. You keeping the Sabbath. You calling the Yahuwah. Get out. They've always done that. They always tell you to remove yourself. But if this a coat, why is it written about? He said, in the way you call a coat is the way I worship my fathers, Elohim. That's what Paul said. See? Man. Let's go. And to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter. Pay attention to that. Olympius. That's where the history of the Olympics started. It started in Pergamos when Yahushua is writing, he says to the faithful or loyal martyr Antipas, who died between where Satan's throne is. Pergamum was the birthplace of the Olympics. This stuff we watching on TV. It's to the Z demon, but they call him the J demon too. They call him the Sky Father. Well, what we see is the Vatican now. The Vatican, that temple, that whole city they got. That place was dedicated to this same demon. You can look it up. That when it called St. Peter's Basilica, that guy they got up there, everybody kissing his feet so much that the metal and bronze done wore off because of that nasty slob. That was originally Jupiter. Ain't that something? The abomination of desolation. That's right. That's right.
They're all
Yeah.
false demons, you know what I'm saying, just in the sky.
Come on. So everybody you see when you go in there and say this is Saint Andrew or this is Saint this and that actually the demons they worshipped in Greek mythology, they're them demons with a different name. So watch this. If that's the truth, then what is Christmas for real? See, they mask stuff. And we just can't believe that they would do that. That's sadistic. Man, listen. They said they set it up. They took the temple of Jerusalem, Yahuwah's temple, and they made it. And it's called him, watch this. They called the demon Jupiter, Garazim, that's what that means. Gar means strangers. They called him the defender of strangers. Wow. Watch this. You don't believe that it references and resonates over here? When they opened up the Statue of Freedom, you know, in New York, the green transvestite, that's Lucifer. When they opened that up, it says, bring all your poor and all your hungry and all your strangers. Read it. That's a defender of strangers. But they trying to build a wall, though, huh? You don't even stick to your own thing. My point is, it's the same thing happening over again. It doesn't stop. It's continual curses. They pursue us. So watch this. And they did desire that dwelt in that place. And coming in, and the mischief was sore and grievous to the people. For the temple was filled with riots and reveling. Partying is what that is. They had to throw a party to it. Man, listen. By the other people who dallied with harlots. It says during the Olympics, the sale of condoms goes through the roof. Yep. Did I make that up? Yep, no. See? Through the roof. Dallying with harlots. Right. Man, it's right here, man. And to do with the women in the circuit of the Kadash places. That's what I told you. Remember, the mistletoe and the holly is to put over your head to rape you. That's what the original thing was. Man, boy. Wow. Why do you think they call it Hollywood? Wizardry has to use holly for movie magic. They tell us all this, and we just think they don't think they're joking, I guess. And besides that, they brought in things that were against the Torah. Here we go. The altar was filled with profane things, which the Torah forbids. Neither was it lawful for a man to guard the days of the Shabbat or the ancient feasts. Look up the Constantine Creed. If you ever get a chance, read the Constantine Creed. It'll blow your mind. Or to profess himself to be a Yahudi. He couldn't even say he was a Yahudi. You see what they did to Nick Cannon when he said he was a Jew? It's the same thing. It was unlawful to say that. Now they got that dude funding the Holocaust victims. Yeah, so look it up. It's unlawful to say you're a Yahudi. You're crazy. I'm telling you, man. All this is now. And in the day of the king, watch this. And in the day of the king's birth, on his birthday, every month, during the time he was born, every month, they brought a bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. They brought sacrifices. In the time that he was born, from that time on. Why is it that time? December 25th is not only JC's birthday, they say. It's all the other demons at that time. Look it up. Why all their birthdays on the same day? I seen a commercial. I'm gonna post it. I be blown away. They had them all sitting at the table, even JC. All the demons sitting there together. Because
they're all the same room.
There you go.
Straight like that.
And here's the question they asked on the thing. Where's Muhammad? They said, oh, that's a long story. See? But JC was sitting right there at the table with him. I'll find it. Man, I'm telling you, they put it out here. Watch this. They had sacrifices. And when the feast of Bacchus, I'm spelling it for that reason. That's Krampus. That's the demon of revelry. That's Pan. When it talks about, when you say Peter Pan, the demon, that's his actual name, Bacchus. He was to lure kids in and sleep with them and stuff. They had a celebration of revelry on his birth. Wow. When the feast of that demon was cast, the Yahudim were compelled to go in procession to that demon, carrying ivy. You know what ivy is? Holly. You know what holly is? Mistletoe. You see this art. They made us carry the procession with it. Christmas parades.
Wow.
They don't even have to make us no more. We the first ones doing it. But to watch Black Panther and then fuss about the colonizer.
Come on now.
And then light the candles. Put the stockings up. We idiots, man. Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor of the cities of the heathens by suggestion of Ptolemy against the Yahudim that they should observe in the same fashions and be partakers of the sacrifices, keep the same holidays. And whosoever will not conform themselves and do not conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. To the manners of the other people, they should be put to death. They put us to death then. We don't even want to, we do it on our own now. Then might a man have seen the present misery. So I'm going to stop right there real quick. And I'm going to show you, actually I'm going to stop right there because there's so much stuff in here. So much stuff to cover. I want, before I do that though, I want to do 2 Maccabees 11 real quick. And I'll mark these, man. We'll have to do a part 2, but I'm going to also tell you when Hanukkah is. But Hanukkah is designed, of the reason why they celebrate is a rededication of the temple. And I'm going to read these scriptures. I got 4 awesome miracles of Yahuwah during that time. But I want to take my time and read them. I don't want to rush it because I want to boast on Yahuwah. But I want to show you this real quick. I'm going to mark these, and we might go revisit them. But watch this. I want to go to Yahuhanan, John 10. See, we always say Christmas ain't in the Bible. And folks want to argue, well, it's just the idea of this and that. But Hanukkah is actually in the book. Why you ain't keeping that? Everything that's listed in the book, they don't keep. But then they quick to say, oh, we ain't under that. That's the Old Testament. But what about the New Testament then? It names it. They were still keeping the Shabbat ark in the New Testament. They were still keeping the feast. Paul said, I must by all means go to Jerusalem to keep the feast.
Yeah.
So if they keeping it down, but you say that's old, okay, let's say that's old. Let's say that's old, if that's your argument. Why ain't you doing the new?
Yeah. Come on now.
There's so many loopholes. My wife always says, you got belts for loopholes. I like that. There's belts for loopholes. I said, well, that's deep. I like that. But belts are made for loopholes. I get it right. Thank you. That's good stuff. Good stuff. So here we go. Let's read this. Watch this. This is Hanukkah. This is the feast of the dedication. When you read Abaryt, in the Abaryt, it's Hanukkah. It's actually a sales paper came out and I seen it. They actually got it right. It's spelled Chanukah. I was A-H. I'm sorry. N-U-K-A-H. And I was like, man, they actually got this right. They spelled it right. Somebody is seeing what we're doing and they watching us. We are being watched. But here we go. So, this is Yahuhanan or John 10 and 22. Look at this. And it was at Jerusalem, the same place that was destroyed. Listen to this. It's being rebuilt again because even in Daniel time he said it was going to be rebuilt. Then they tore it down again. They rebuilt it again. The Feast of Hanukkah. In your King James, if you got one, it says the Festival of Lights. So you putting up lights for Christmas trees and putting lights on your houses for Saint Nick, which Nick means demon. Back in the 1600s, when they did plays, they said, here comes old Nick. And he'd come out, ho, ho, ho.
See that?
See? Man, our people are destroyed from lack of knowledge. Yes, ma'am.
Ho, ho, ho was the thing to let you know that the demon was coming onto the stage.
Okay.
I say he didn't say ho, ho, but that was the thing to let you know that the demon was
Oh, man. Okay, appreciate that. So ho, ho, ho was still associated to the demon, and he came out. So now they done put it all together. So the little red and white guy we see now ain't even the Santa Claus that we knew. Coca-Cola made him. See, but we've lost this. We were so out of touch, and then we try to reach our people. I was talking to the other day. He was like, his family done pretty much disown him. I won't have nothing to do with him. But he's the one trying to help them. They won't see this. This is full-on history. But right here, you see the Festival of Lights in John 10, which is Hanukkah. That's what it means. So, the Feast of Hanukkah. And it was winter. It tells you when it was. And Yahushua walked in the temple on Solomon's porch, or Solomon's porch. Then came the Yahudim round about him and said unto him, how long do you make us doubt? If you be Hamashiach, tell us plainly. Yahushua answered them and said, I told you, and you did not believe me. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me. But you believe not, because you are not of my sheep. Boy, as I have said unto you, my sheep hear my voice. And I know them. We always stop at the sheep hear my voice and strain and do not follow. He says, and I know them. If the voice of Yahweh has woken you up to follow this man, you better Abaryt Yahshar'alym. You better rejoice. And I know them. Man, it's good. And they follow me. And I give unto them eternal life. And they shall not perish. He's talking about this at Hanukkah. Man. Neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. My Father which gave them to me is greater than all, and no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. Now he said, pluck them out of my hand, and then he said, pluck them out of my Father's hand. You do the math. Same hand. Same hand. Yamin, same hand, right hand. I and my Father are Yahad one. He says it right after that. He just made it clear. Then he said, and we won. What's the argument? But here's the problem. You've been in paganism so long that you see Santa Claus standing over a baby JC in a manger. They have images of this. So that means Santa Claus is older than him. You've been so messed up that you've separated things in your mind and you don't understand the fullness of Yahweh. He is one. And because he's one, his law is one. And if you obey the new, you have to obey the old, because the new and the old are the same. I'm doing a teaching, I'm getting it ready on trinities. Every pagan demon has a trinity. It's 3 of each. They come out in 3s. And they still worship them. They can still buy the altars for these demons, even in our time now. So now you have took Yahweh and tried to make him what you think he is, but he's one. There's no trinity. He's one. Man, listen. He said, I and my Father are one. And when the Yahudim took up stones, why did they want to stone him up? Because they said he was Yahuwah. That's blasphemy to them. They say he never said that. I heard people teach that he said he never said that he was Yahuwah.
It says 2 verses down, that's why they won't stone. But he never said that.
Man, come on, man. This is not rocket science, man. He made it simple. He said, then the Yahudim took up stones against him to stone him. Yahushua answered, many good works have I shown you from my Father. For which of the works do you seek to stone me? And the Yahudim answered, saying, for a good work we stone you not, but for blasphemy. Blasphemy is saying you are him. That's why he said, Abraham rejoiced to see my day. For Abraham was a Hayah, I am. He said who he was, man. So the Festival of Lights, reason why I'm reading this and showing you Hanukkah, because even though it wasn't a direct commandment of Yahweh in Leviticus 23, even Yahushua himself honored it. Because the temple was dedicated back to who? Him. I'm gonna show up at this party. It's about me. Huh? But you got lights on and things strewn out and cookies for a mystical, magical elf. Where's this in the book? Even Yahushua, the deliverer of all, showed up at Hanukkah. Man, we messed up, man. We gonna have to pray for our people. And because you, being a man, make yourself Elohim. They said, we want to stone you because you have made yourself Elohim. Right. Clear as day then. He said who he was. Right. He said, I told you. Man, it's good, man. I don't even argue that no more. This book. Yahushua answered them and said, is it not written in your Torah? Watch this. This is what people get, and they get it wrong. I love this. Is it not written in your Torah? I said, you are Elohim. That's what people be like, man, we God, son. You know what I'm saying? But if you read that Dawood wrote, it was, you are judges. So he's saying, is it written in your Torah? I told you that you are judges. You can judge this for yourself. But people take it and they see the GODs and they lose their mind. Even Kanye made a song from that same chapter. But if you read that chapter, Dawood is saying, judge me, O Elohim. Judge me from my works. Elohim also means judges. Man, boy. Gotta learn the Abaryt, man. And if he called them Elohim, by whom the word of Yahuwah came, then the scripture cannot be broken. You said of him whom your father has sanctified and sent into the world, you blaspheme, because I said I am Abaryt. See, he changed it. I am the bond of Elohim, or the son of the great judge. Remember, man, listen, all this has to be in context. Remember, Elohim came to Abraham before he destroyed Sodom. And he said, will the judge of all the earth do right? See? So he's saying, if I'm a judge, and he told you to be judges, judge me then. I said, I am the great judge. That's what he said. Man. Now you walking around listening to Erykah Badu trying to do magic because you think you're a God. Let's sit down. Understand the book. And if I do the works of my Father, believe me not. But if I do, though you believe me not, believe me by the works. Yahuwah did all the works. Everything we see was his works. Even in Hanukkah, when I preach to you deliverance, that's his works. Man. That you may know and believe that the Father is in me and I am in him. He told him he was just a vessel for the Father. He was the Father standing in front of him as a vessel. A skin suit. Man, boy. Brought Yahuwah. Therefore, you came and sought him to take him again, but he escaped out of their hand and went away before the Jordan and the place where Yahuhanan first immersed, and there he abode. And many resorted unto him and said, listen to what they say. Yahuhanan did no miracle. He didn't do one act. Did no miracles. They listened to him though. But all the things that Yahuhanan spoke of this man were true. That's what you spoke. It said it didn't. You said in your message you had, and it was very powerful. You said it don't matter if you get fame or not. Continue to do the work. Yeah. It don't matter if you world known or world renowned or known on Facebook or whatever. Continue to do the work. This man just confirmed it right here. These people who spoke said Yahuhanan didn't do one miracle, but guess what he did? He immersed and he remained humble. And they said everything he said about this man is true. He was only the spokesperson for the greatest person in the world. And didn't want any credit for it. He only wanted to point them to the light. Boy. This good. And many believed on him now from the words of Yahuhanan and what he had said. Boy. Let's read one more. Yahuhanan or John 2:18. This man didn't know he was going to be no book op. None of them did. Not the beloved of nobody. They didn't know that they were going to be this. They were only trying to point you to the person that's the greatest. Right. They didn't know that this thing was going to be all over the world like this. They had no idea. Right. They only wanted to testify the truth. Now, hallelujah. Okay, 2:18, and I'm done after this. And I'm going to tell you the dates, and we're going to get done, man, because I want y'all to see. Man, it's good stuff.
I mean, just to
lay him back.
Lay him back, bring him home. That same man died in prison.
See there? Got beheaded.
With his head cut off.
Come on, he died in prison with his head cut off. But Yahuwah said that he great. Yeah. The greatest Nabi you could ever meet was him. Boy! Right. So that means his reward, listen. That same head that was cut off has a crown now. Boy, I almost threw this. The same head that was cut off has a crown now. It don't matter about your ranking. It matters about your belief system and your believing. That was a powerful word. I'm telling you. I watched that word. And Abaryt Yahshar'alym for it. Because it ain't matter about fame or names. It matters about who you serve. Right here. They said, man, this is what who Yahushua preached about. Right here. We believe on him. Do you know he gonna get credit for all them souls that came in? That's building up your treasures in the Shemayim. So he was credited for every immersion, every soul that he did, even though he sat in prison and probably got down on himself and felt like it was nothing. When they came and said, Yahushua asked, are you a Mashiach or should we wait for another? Yahushua didn't even curse the man. He bigged him up. He said, I'm going to say up to y'all, not a greater prophet than Yohanan, the merciful. He didn't even talk about him because he already knew this man probably down in his flesh. But guess what? I co-signed to this guy. Huh? Man, come on. It only matters if Yahushua confirms you. You hear me? Boy. Man, hallelujah, man. Then answered the Yahudim and said unto him, what sign show you unto us? See, they asking. Watch this. Seeing that you do these things, they saw the works. Watch what he said. Yahushua answered and said unto him, destroy this temple. This is the temple. This is their call. This is what we Hanukkah. This is what our festival of lights should be. This is the call of Yahweh. This is his dwelling place. Watch this. Destroy this temple. And in 3 days, I will raise it up. Look what they said. Then said the Yahudim, 46 years was this temple in building. They knew what happened in Maccabees. They like, what? They didn't understand that he was coming to dedicate this temple. This is the true Hanukkah. Man, listen, bro. But he spoke to them of the temple of his body. When therefore he was risen from the dead, his Talmudim remembered that he had said this unto them, and they believed the scripture and the word which Yahushua had said. What scripture did they believe? See, it had to be something written. When we read in Amos that it said this in the midday, in noon, it's going to become dark. See there? In midday, it's going to become dark. And people are going to mourn for an only son. He was prophesying about this. They were always talking about the Mashiach. That's why you see in Daniel, he talks about the Mashiach, the Prince of Princes. Everybody say, no, you can't find the Messiah in none of the scriptures. What? He's talking about him the whole time. Even Hanukkah talks about the elect one, which is the Mashiach. All this is to point to him, because watch this. Now the temple is cast down. If you read Matthew 24, he said it was going to be, but the temple is us now. We are little sanctuaries. We are what Yahuwah wanted to rededicate to himself. That was just a pattern, remember? The pattern doesn't matter. It's what the first design was. You understand? That's the one that's going to reign forever. That's why the pattern is just to show you what is eternal. That's why Paul says we will be changed from corruptible to incorruptible. We're going to become, man, this flesh going to die off and we're going to be eternal. Man. Hallelujah. Hold on. I'm going to read this right here. So, Hanukkah. It's the 25th of the 9th month to us. Our 9th month, 25th day. You understand? From the 25th to the 1st is Hanukkah. The 1st of the 10th month. But that'll be the 12th on their calendar. The 12th through the 19th. That is the Hanukkah days. Why these days matter? These days matter because it showed the power of Yahweh. What do? I dedicate my temple to him. I try to remember all his works. I read Maccabees. I'll study that even more. And I thank him for caring enough to come himself to rededicate the temple. Because Yehuda Maccabee did the work then and got Yahuwah the honor. But he came through Yehuda and did it himself to restore us, the true temples. So I dedicate my temple to Yahweh. During those days, I try to pray. I may fast. I seek his face. I just try to make sure I'm closer to him so I can thank him for it. There's no temple. It was destroyed. You get what I'm saying? And that's why they're trying so hard to rebuild it again. But even if they rebuild it, like I said, it took 46 years in building this. And you say, we're going to destroy the temple and build it back up in 3 days? They didn't even understand what he was talking about. The main temple Yahweh was concerned with, watch this, were the ones keeping his covenant while the temple was destroyed. In Maccabees, the ones who held the covenant, that's who Yahuwah honored. You're going to see miracles work for them. Even when the temple was profaned, you know what he was showing the Goyim? You can mess with my earthly temple. I don't dwell in that. I don't dwell in things built by man's hands. I dwell in these. Yeah. You can mess with that temple all you want. I knew you were going to do it. That's why I had them build it. Right. See? He always a step ahead of the Goyim and us. He always ahead of the game at every point. And he knew that we would be here. And he wanted to indwell us and grow us in Hanukkah and in the Feast of Dedication. This is the Festival of Lights. We are his lights, right? We're Urim. We are his lights. So if this is the Festival of Lights, we should keep it and let our light shine to the world. What I do during this time, I warn you about the paganism. Because as a light, I must tell you about your darkness. So when we talking about Hanukkah and them keeping Hanukkah, it's all about how Yahuwah feels about it. Remember, I told you, and I'm going to try to reiterate this carefully the way I say it. The reason why they put the demons in the temple on the 25th day of that 9th month, they were trying to corrupt Yahuwah. That was the whole purpose. They wanted to corrupt Yahuwah. So now that the calendar is shifted, they still seeking to corrupt Yahuwah. See, if you look at September 9, it's supposed to be 9. No, I mean September is 7. October is 8. Nov is 9. Deca or December is supposed to be 10. Yeah. See? And I hit going with that all the time. They're like, man, I ain't even seen it like that. That's crazy. But even though they shifted the calendar, they still trying to find themselves corrupting Yahuwah's time. Because this is tradition. They knew that during this time, that's what they did. They corrupted his temple. See, they know this. It's us that's blind to it. So during this time, you should be praying for people to wake up. That your light of the rule of Yahweh shine in people's life. That they see your light. You don't have to attack them about this. Just ask them and say, hey, you want to see where this stuff comes from for real? Humbly ask them. If they reject it, they reject Yahuwah. Don't take it personal. This is things that they've done for thousands of years. This ain't just a beginning of it. This is thousands of years. You can't break it. Only the root can break it. So when you see people doing this stuff, man, see it as an opportunity to be a light during the Festival of Lights. That you are a light unto Yahweh. So do anybody have any questions or anything before we close out?
So repeat them days.
Yes, ma'am. No. Purim is in the 12th month. That would be our 12th month. This is our 9th month. So I'll be teaching on Purim at Yahuwah Wills another time. Because I want to talk about that. That's another festival of what Yahuwah did for us. But that is in the book of Hadassah, who they call Esther. And Purim was celebrated by, that's actually when you give gifts. So we'll be talking about that. They actually give gifts to celebrate how Yahweh saved them from the hand of Haman. Because he was going to destroy all the Yahudim. So that's actually a time in the 12th month, our 12th month, that you do give gifts. Go ahead, Al.
There's also several other besides
Purim. Yeah, it's a lot of feasts.
There's several others that are in these removed books.
Yeah, because Abraham kept several feasts too. It was certain feasts that he kept too. So, as we grow and as we go, I'll teach about these feasts, but I really want you to focus on Yahuwah 7. And then I'm introducing these feasts on the calendar to show you about Yahweh's power. But if you're not gonna keep the 7, I ain't gonna waste time. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to people in the street, they be wanting to know. But I'm talking about people who keeping it. There's a lot of feasts that we kept. You know what I'm saying? People always say, oh, what about your birthday? What about the kids? What about this? What about the gifts? But we did that for our people. We gave gifts. We celebrated when children were born and everything. We celebrated that stuff. But we just didn't do it in the pagan way. So we never forgot our children. We never forgot, the people that were among us to honor. Because even Yahweh tells you to honor your mother and father. If you give them gifts anyway, you won't have to worry about Mother and Father's Day. If you do for them anyway, Yahweh is eternal. So he don't put a set deadline on when you're supposed to do stuff. Because you're supposed to live like him. And, even when rewards, you can give rewards to anybody who do good things. Like I tell people that when my kids do good, we give them rewards. Why? Because Yahuwah rewards us for our good works. We don't have to wait on them. So the dates was, it'll be the sundown of that day 6, which is the 11th, begins Hanukkah. That's the 25th of our month. The sundown of the 11th through the closing of the 19th. So sundown on the 19th is the end of Hanukkah. And that is the end. That's the December months, but that's our 25th through Abaryt, which is the 10th month. The first of the 10th month is the end of Hanukkah. And man, it's just amazing how, like I tell people, I don't have the fullness of this calendar yet, but it's pretty close. Because when you see how the paganism and stuff operate, this calendar is very close to how it was. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's the end all, know all, but what Yahuwah showed me, man, Abaryt Yahuwah, that he even took the time to pour this into me, because it's very close to their calendar that they had. So, like Nehemiah had, like I told you, when they kept Sukkot, they were 2 weeks off, but they still kept Sukkot. So, Abaryt Yahuwah for his time, his feast, and like I said with this one, this is just appreciation of his goodness. If you want to start reading Maccabees at this time, this will be a good time to read the book of Maccabees to your family so that they can see. Because when you read this book, you see that pagan tree, the Asherah pole, and you see the things that they did. Because remember who they call the Sky Father, and who is Jupiter. That's actually Santa Claus now. They'll tell you. I don't know if you looked on my page. I had the evolution of Santa Claus. This person that is mentioned in these scripts that they set right in the temple of Yahuwah has become who we call Santa Claus. So they know this. They know he's the Sky Father. And instead of the eight-legged horse he had called the Sleipnir, now he has 8 reindeer. All it did was evolve into something different. Because Hashatan is smart. He crafty. He gonna keep you looking. He gonna keep you somewhere else. Because if you don't seek Yahuwah, you'll never be. Like the book says, we're not ignorant of his devices. Right. So that's why Yirmiyahu said, don't be afraid of it, because they can't do anything to you. He's not saying when he said don't be afraid of it, he ain't saying partake in it. He's just saying when you see it, don't worry about it. That ain't nothing to me. It can't even move. It don't have any life to it. They offended him by doing it. But when we're in this pagan land, Yahuwah knows, man, and he knows when we're not keeping this foolishness. So stand for righteousness. Yes, ma'am.
It took America so long to avoid Christmas at first. It took them so many years, they didn't even want to be a partaker of it.
Yeah, it was illegal in America. Yeah, you can look it up, the history. It was illegal because of the reveling and the whoredom and all that was attached to it. It was illegal. But see, here's the thing. What we miss out is this. You have the righteous people versus the wicked people in any place. It was people who were actually trying to stick to these scripts, but they couldn't stand against everything that they were being bombarded with. Once immigrants came in, like when we talk about immigrants, Trump people, that's his family. He always talk about immigrants, boy. Once like Germans and stuff like that came in, they want to introduce like the Tannenbaum religion and these holidays, and it became so widespread, people just started doing it.
Right.
So
that's the fruit of a democracy.
that's right.
When you have a democracy, when you have a democratic government, I know we talk about Democrats and Republicans, but the actual government
Right.
It's a democracy.
That's right.
The problem with democracy is that it's not of scripture.
Majority rule.
Because Yahuwah is the one that gives us what we're supposed to do.
That's right.
Democracy, everybody can have a say.
That's right.
So that's how we got from where we was to where we are. I remember when I was a kid, we watched I Love Lucy, man, and he didn't even sleep in the same room with his dog.
That's right.
They weren't even the same. They'll never see no stuff like that on TV. Not even close. And that wasn't that long ago. I'm just 46.
Yeah. And you know, the FDA, and you know,
And now you see, I mean, now, and I remember even the progression of this thing. I remember a time where it was getting worse, but they were still kind of just, what do you call it? What do you call it they had it tamed.
right.
So it's been a slow progression.
And it was a guild they had back then that they wouldn't want to pervert the eyes of the children and the people. They actually had a filmmakers guild to where that could not be broken. But now they've done away with that. Man, you see men doing their Tyler Perry thing, got men having sex laying in the same bed. You know, I warned people about Tyler Perry a long time ago. Right. You know, that's why they changed Cartoon Network to Adult Swim. I remember you could watch like Bugs Bunny and stuff as a young kid all the way 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Because sometimes we go down to Florida, you still could cut on Cartoon Network and see some good cartoons. Then they put Adult Swim on now, and it's so much foolishness, man. They're purposely corrupting it, because this is why I say that. The same power that led Alexander the Great is still on earth. It's eternal. And that power knows, it says that Yahuwah, until the fullness of this happens, they have to even obey him. It has to come into the fullness of wickedness. We're not even at the fullness of wickedness yet, because they haven't started walking in the street naked and raping people like that. We're not even at the fullness yet.
Yahshar'alym, us as a people, we really need to wake up, because I hear our own people talking about how bad it is, and how dire this time is. But this ain't nothing.
You still have freedom now.
Dragging us out in the street and killing us.
You still have your freedom
This
now.
ain't nothing.
Right.
Now we have some places on the earth right now where people are truly being persecuted. But this right here that is in America, if we think this is bad right now, we're not gonna make it.
That's right.
Because this ain't nothing. We ain't going through nothing.
And see, even the media is perverting the news. Because I remember one time these teenagers got killed, and they called him Yahushua. You know, they were killed for believing in Yahushua. But when the news got it, the chaplain that was over there was Catholic. He said JC. See? And it's making Christians believe that they really getting persecuted. But those teens actually served the true Messiah. But by the time that story got to America, it had totally been changed. See? And so, you know, we can't even trust the news. We can't trust what the news is giving us. We're going to have to believe this book, walk in this book. And like you said, it is not bad yet. So I'm going to tell you this. If you're buying guns, if you're storing up and stuff, I'm not finna tell you to stop. Because there may be things you preparing for that you have to go into the wilderness. You may need your gun to kill bears while you're living out there or hiding. I don't know what it is, but I know this. The end times, what we see in this book is not just directly to what's after us. This thing has continued to go. That's why the book says that Mashiach is already here. He wouldn't have said that if he wasn't. You get what I'm saying? Because if you look at Emperor Nero, he was already a wicked man. It was wicked emperors who married their horses and everything. Look up the history. They were already wicked and killing people. That's why Yohanan the Immerser was on Patmos. The reason, not Yohanan the Immerser, Yohanan the Beloved, or John the Beloved. The reason why he was on Patmos is because they tried to boil him in oil and kill him. And they couldn't kill him, so they put him over there. So when you see these stories, they were already being persecuted. So my thing is, are we gonna stand? Are we worried about family leaving us and not dealing with us? Is that really gonna affect us to where we buckle under and serve their power? Or are we gonna stand and say, forget it? I know so many people that have left this belief system to go back because they lost people. And that's sad. You wouldn't, but it says what? Any man look back after putting his hand to the plow, he wasn't worthy of me anyway. You're not worthy anyway. That's why it says he knows those who serve him. So We finna pray out. You want to pray us out? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, man. You want to get in? Well, I'll pray out and then we'll go from there. Baruch atah Hashem Yahuwah Eloheinu, melech haolam, melech olamim. Exalted are you, Yahuwah, King of the universe forever. You know the end from the beginning, and everything you have done has been laid out in perfection, word for word, so that we can see how accurate your prophets were and how awesome your word is. Yahuwah, let us never give up, but let us contend for the belief system once given to the Kadeshim. The righteous ones received this, and they were torn asunder with horses and thrown in stadiums and killed and executed. But you have always stood for your people. You've always stood for those who stood for you. Even the Goyim we see in this book, because they served you or worshiped you, you stood for them. So you are not a respecter of person except for those who keep your commandments. Those are the people you respect. Let us all come unto one banner and one nation under Yahuwah Yahshay. That is the true Yerushalayim. It's coming from the Shemayim, the true copy of the pattern that was made. And Yahuwah, we thank you for this day. Thank you for this place, allowing Chanukah, your word to be given of the Feast of Dedication. And let us always dedicate our temples to you and be Kadash before this world. In the name of all names, Yahuwah, who is Yahushua. Amen.